Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Johnny. I have a very unusual guest today, which I think you're going to really enjoy. We're going to talk today to my favorite travel expert. His name is Johnny Jet, and he has, Johnny, I got to tell you, really the most interesting travel website I've ever seen. And you do what, is it 200 countries a year or 20 countries a year? It's 20 countries a year. Okay.
It's about 20 countries.
Okay, 20 countries a year. But how many days a year are you on the road?
I'm gone.
You're gone?
Man, 300 days a year probably.
Wow. And you just got married, did you not? Somebody
I
told
got married
me?
2 years ago. 2 years ago, but so it's pretty new. I thought it was
But
gonna
you
be
didn't notice, right? Because you were away most of that time.
My wife actually lives in Toronto, and I live in LA.
Yeah, well, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. We live in separate residences too. I think it works really well. But here's my question to you. So you're also a pretty healthy guy and health conscious, and you know all of the people who listen to me and watch me always write in around this time of year asking for travel tips. It's really one of the most treacherous times for trying to stay healthy, whether it's keeping up a fitness routine, whether it's finding food in an airport, although that's become a lot easier in the last 10 years. I'd like to ask you, what are some of your experiences in trying to stay to some kind of a routine, try to stay on some kind of a healthy schedule? What have you found? I mean, I don't know anybody who's a more experienced traveler than you, and luckily you're sort of interested in some of these same things. Tell us give us some tips.
Well, it's difficult, especially in my job. I pretty much get wined and dined around the world.
Yeah.
And so you're going to these places, and they think you're on vacation, or they're like, you need to try this and that, and they're giving you course after course. So what you can do. My thing just keeps.
Yeah.
Does it sound okay?
Yeah. You sound fine.
What you can do is just don't eat the whole plate, or share it. That's even better, and you save money. So when I'm out with my wife, when we try to cut back on having big meals, we try and share it. Or I just got off of a cruise.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you. That's probably the most treacherous eating environment I can even imagine. How do you eat healthy on a cruise? What do you do?
You need to have willpower, and unfortunately, I do not have that willpower all the time. But what I do is when I'm on a cruise, I take the stairs instead of the elevator.
Okay.
And that is my number one tip, except when you're, getting on board and you have all your luggage, or when you're leaving, you want to take the elevator, don't want to be schlepping all those bags up.
Right.
But what you want to do is take the stairs, even if it's, 10, 11 flights every time to go to wherever you're going on the ship.
And that's probably a good tip in general, to find extra places where you could do some walking or you could do some movement. I mean, just in general, whether it's a cruise ship or anything else, it's probably...
Or in the airport too. Instead of taking the escalator or the the moving stairs.
Sure.
I mean, I guess that says the escalator. I'm talking about the moving walkway.
Yeah, I do that too.
You take the stairs.
Just walk, or you just walk alongside the moving stairs. But what about finding food? And we can start with airports. I know it's gotten a lot easier recently, but are there any? What do you do with the airport stuff? What do you do with airports?
You know what? You froze for a second, so I missed what you said.
I was talking about airports because in general, that used to be one of the most treacherous places to try to find healthy food. But it's gotten better. But what have you found in terms of finding some kind of meal regularity, some kind of decent food where you don't just give in to the pizza because it's there? What do you do?
That is tough. So, what I would do is either go on to different apps or ask my friends on Facebook or my followers on Twitter saying, hey, what are your favorite restaurants in this such and such airport?
Yep.
But there is a great app called Gate Guru.
Guru. Tell us.
And that tells you, everything that's offered in that airport.
Oh, that's great to know. Now, here's a psychological thing that I've fallen into myself, so I wonder if you have any hints for this. There's a lot of foods I don't normally eat, pizza being one of them, once in a great while, but not usually. And I find when I'm in that airport, something in my brain kind of says, well, it's sort of special circumstances. It's away from my schedule. What can I grab that's fast? How do you prevent yourself from succumbing to that? What kind of preventive or preemptive strikes could you make so that you don't fall victim to I'm starving, the plane leaves in 5 minutes, what the heck, I'm getting the Domino's?
Well, I always carry almonds in my bag.
Excellent.
So that's my trick is almonds. Sometimes I will, I'll bring a, not a power bar, but whatever you call it.
Yeah. Energy bar.
Energy bar, although
sure.
those aren't great for you, but, that will prevent you from getting the pizza.
What happens when you get to a foreign country, you don't know the language, all of a sudden there are signs? I was in China giving some lectures earlier this year. Luckily, I had guides and stuff, but if I didn't, I would not have known what to do. The only thing familiar is Kentucky Fried Chicken and Domino's. What do you do when you're, like, say, in Turkey or Istanbul and there are signs in different languages? Is there any kind of guide you have for, like, gravitating towards basic, maybe paleo-centric foods that you can find in any country?
No, actually, the languages aren't that problem, and I barely speak English, as you can tell. I don't speak any other language but English.
Neither do I.
You can get by. So, and there's also apps again for this. You can use Google Translate. You can use an app called Word Lens, which you don't even need to be online for, and it will translate every sign you see or even menu.
How does it know? How do you tell it? Like, if you see a sign in, I don't know, Portuguese, how do you?
It will know it. You take a picture of it.
Oh,
actually, for that you have to buy whatever country you're going to. You want to download that language.
Oh, I see. That's great. That's a really, really helpful thing. Do you find that there's any problem, like, regulating your appetite in terms of, like, sort of, with jet lag or with time zone changes? How does that affect your eating habits? Are you able to sort of stay on an internal clock? Like, these are my meals. I wait for it. Or one of the studies I remember from graduate school was that the difference between the stewards on airlines that were well overweight versus the ones that were very slim was that the ones that were slim kind of kept their own internal clock. They ate when they were hungry. The ones that were heavy ate when it was breakfast time or lunchtime, and every time they moved, there's a different meal being served in a different country. Have you found anything consistent with that, like staying on some kind of an internal clock for meals has been helpful in any way?
I think what you want to do is you want to get on local time as soon as possible. So I actually, if I'm going to Europe from California, I'll start going to bed early a few nights before.
Excellent advice.
And then when I get on the plane, I change my clock right away to local time. And then I'll, if it's, if I'm taking off at 10 o'clock here at night and it's 6 o'clock in the morning there or whatever, I'll try and eat breakfast or go to bed. And then you try to get on the local schedule as soon as possible, or even before you even leave.
That's really smart. Do you use melatonin or anything?
No, I don't. Actually, my nickname's Johnny Jetlag.
I'm a big fan of melatonin. I use it normally anyway. Yeah, it's very.
No, I don't use anything. My trick is I don't drink any alcohol.
Yeah, neither do I.
So, and especially when you're on a plane, you don't want to drink alcohol.
You really don't.
Drink a lot of water. I drink as much water as you can, and I walk every hour.
I was going to ask you, do you do that? Because people really don't know how bad sitting for long extended periods are. There are new studies showing that even if you exercise, you can't completely undo the bad metabolic stuff that happens from long extended periods of sitting. So I'm glad to hear you mention that tip. It's very important. So you just walk up and down the aisles.
Yeah,
and annoy people, right?
yeah. Or you try to get an exit row. I just flew in today, actually. I just flew in from Palm Beach to LA, and I got the exit row, and I was with my dad, and I actually talk to the flight attendants. I make friends with the flight attendants. They give me a big bottle of water.
Right.
And that's key. It's because or bring it on.
Sure.
Buy it right before you get on.
And carry it with you. Do you carry water all the time with you when you travel mostly?
For sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of times if I'm in an airport where they have good water, like San Francisco, they encourage you to empty out your water before you go through security, keep your water bottle.
Yeah.
And they have refresher stations.
Yes, I've seen that.
And you just fill it up.
One fast trick question I'm going to throw at you. The hardest country it's ever been for you to stay healthy and on routine in?
Italy.
No kidding. How come? I thought you were going to say something like Somalia or some country where what?
The food is so good, and you want to have pizza, you want to have pasta every meal. And that is why probably, because I eat a lot of, when I'm there, every meal I'll have pizza and pasta.
Have you found, let me ask you something, because I have certainly found this over the years with people who write to me and people I've worked with in nutrition and weight loss, that people often go on vacation, they expect that they're going to, they eat, they throw all the rules out, they think they're going to come back 10, 15 pounds, and they actually come back either at the same weight or less. And they're always puzzled by this. I have a theory about why it happens. Have you seen that in your own travels?
Sure, and I'll tell you what the
Tell
reason
me why.
is. I believe it's because they're doing a lot of walking.
I agree with you, and I'd add one thing to that. I also think it's because their stress levels have been reduced, and stress puts on belly fat. And when you're in a lower stress level, your metabolism runs better, and then, of course, you add that walking, and I think that has a lot to do with why people don't put on as much weight as they think they're going to put on vacation.
You know, I never thought about that. I like it. I thought it was always walking because right when I get there, I try and walk as much as I can.
I couldn't agree more, but I think there's also a stress component. Johnny, tell us about your website real fast so people can find you. I love it. I want to share it with everybody.
JonnyJet.com. Every week I travel somewhere, write about it, talk about it. You can follow me on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, all Jonny Jet.
Johnny, thanks for spending this time with you. Happy travels. Happy holiday.
Thank
Very
you.
much appreciated. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.